Hello and welcome to day 13 of our 30-day Facebook series, Money Fear is Real and How You Change It. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. And today's topic is recalibrating your money heart set to be in a loving, supportive, connected community. So, welcome, Nancy. Hi. Thanks for being here. So, when your heart is open, what would be different for you? Ask yourself that question. What would be different when your heart is open? Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. On time. I love it, Debbie. Should be on time. I love it. Yes. Well, you would also be craving connection when your heart is open. We are wired to be in community. It's in our nature. It's in our DNA. It's in our behavior, in our brains, in our mind. It's everywhere because it comes from back in the caveman days, for example, when we needed community to survive for our very existence. So we formed groups to survive. And if you were alone, it was probably a matter of time before you died. Because there's safety in numbers. There's also support in numbers. Some of our basic needs are met in community, that being the safety and that being also the love and connection. Also, the ability to be able to get food and water. So if you think about, well, we can even just go back to tribal Africa. It's still going on today in some areas. There are the tribes, and everyone has their role within the tribe. So one person or several people, their job is to go get water for the community. Another person is the one who does the cooking. Another person does babysitting. Another person is a hunter. Another one is a fisher. Another one is the skinner. Another one is the medicine woman or man. So everybody had their own roles, and collectively they were able to not only survive, but to thrive and to have better lives and to be able to be themselves more. Whereas if a person were alone, then they would have to do all those functions. And how often do we find ourselves doing that in our businesses and with our money? We probably find that more often than we would care to. I know I've fallen into that trap before. Right now I'm not doing that, but I do have some help. So what's important to know is that we are all here for a purpose, and we have our role to play. It is our purpose, it is our mission, it is what drives us, and as we fulfill our mission and as we share our gifts, that is helping other people, because other people are relying on us to play our parts. And if we don't play our parts and we don't share our gifts, then they can't fully do theirs. It's really that simple. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube and you don't have half of it. You're not really going to be able to solve that. So similar concept, and everyone matters. You matter, I matter, the next person matters. And our contribution to people, to humanity, to the world, to animals, to whatever it is, to our planet, it really matters. And it's time for us to be able to step up and handle some of the things that are going on in our mindset, body set, and heart set, so that we can eradicate those faulty programming so that we can do that. And bonus, we get to have a life full of more pleasure and ease and grace. We get to have more harmony and balance. We get more time with loved ones. We get to give back more. We get to travel more, experience other cultures. Hi, Roland. Welcome. So being in community is very important for us. And being in community is a two-way street. It's about giving, which I know most people on this call, we are very great at giving, but also it's about receiving. And it's about sharing. And it's about leveraging resources amongst the group so that we can all get to where we're going easier, faster, and funner. I know that's not a real word, but I like to say it, with more fun. So think about it. If you're in a group and that group has access to resources or has resources or knows people who have access to resources that you need, then that's kind of important. It's kind of the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's part of the power of community. Another part of the power of community is that you're able to be able to be seen, to be heard, to be able to see and hear others, to be able to share your stories, share your triumphs, share your challenges, get help. Denise said funner is a word. It's a funner word. Yeah, I love it. Welcome, Denise. And so many of us are trying to be a one woman or a one man wolf pack. Well, it's not the best way to operate. And so what it does also is it puts us in isolation. We as human beings do not thrive in isolation. We thrive in community, in support, in connections, in deep, meaningful connections with other people, not just mamby-pamby relationships. I'm sure we all know some of those. So there'll be a point where you just say no to isolation, say no to trying to do it all yourself, because now you know there's a better way and an easier way. And what I'm doing right now, actually, Roland, I think you're going to like this, and Debbie already knows. I just put up a Facebook post last night because I got the idea, as I was working on this for you guys today, to do a Get On Podcasts mastermind. And it would be a mastermind where each person is contributing to finding podcasts to be on, finding the contacts for them, and sharing, hey, maybe I've been on these 4 podcasts. You might want to, you as another member of the group, you might want to try this. This could be a good fit for you. So it's really working in a community together to all help each other, rather than going to spend, $15,000 on somebody's program, which I'm sure is a great program, but this way we can all help each other. So I've got some other ideas in the works for creating these pods, and which are community entities. Anyway, if you're interested in participating, let me know. I'm putting together an interest list right now. When we have enough interest, which I'm sure will be within a couple of days, then we're going to rock and roll with it. It's going to be fabulous. It's the Get On Podcast Mastermind. Okay, we're moving on. So, how willing have you been to receive? Type in the comments for me. How willing have you been on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being super willing, I'm the receiving king or queen, bring it on. 0 being, no, I'm a giver, and I'm going to sit here and eat my crackers and drink my water, and I'm going to give you my steak and my vegetables and my bedding, and that's all I need is the crackers. That's a 0. So I'd love to know where you are. Type in the comments what level you are with how willing have you been to receive. Not just willing, but receiving. Because I can guarantee you there are a lot of opportunities in a day to receive. Okay, we have somebody coming in with a 5. Good. And Debbie's not sure. How do I know I'm willing to receive? You know that you're willing to receive when it's happening, because the opportunities are there. It's just that we have been either blind to them, deaf to them, or we just don't believe that we're good enough. We don't feel like we're worthy enough to say yes to them. Or we have this faulty programming in our heart set, mindset, and body set that we've been talking about. So maybe we have a belief that rich people are bad. And so it's rich people who receive. Or we confuse the word take with receiving. Oh, I'm taking if I'm receiving. Or if I'm receiving, somebody else is going to get less, which couldn't be further from the truth. That is so much a big fat lie. I'm pulling the big fat lie card on that one. No. Receiving, there's enough for everybody. And we all need each other to fulfill our parts on this planet to be able to do what we're supposed to do, and for everybody else to be able to do what they're doing. It would be like, if you have a movie and the leading actors aren't in the movie and the director doesn't show up, but we have some other players in there and there's no music. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah. Okay, Debbie's on the hashtag goals. I love it. I forgot to mention that to you. So when you get an aha moment, when you get a realization or something resonates with you, we're using hashtag gold for gold nugget, and then you write after that what your gold nugget is. And at the end of this series, there will be prizes. Some very, very big prizes valued at $2,500, for example. And then there are other levels of prizes too. So, okay. Nancy's saying, mine is not worthy. I'm cheating it up to a 2, but it's probably really a 0. Okay. Truth. The truth is coming out, Nancy. Yeah. So receiving is part of being in a community, and it's part of a connection. If you think about giving and receiving, to give, you must have a receiver who is willing to receive. You can give, and if you have a potential receiver who doesn't want to receive, then you can't really give. It doesn't work that way. And if you're a receiver, when I was first working on this years ago, one way that I could wrap myself around it was, in order for me to receive, that meant that the giver was able to be in their glory. And the giver was getting so much pleasure and value and just really happy to give. So that's how I was able to finally start to receive. Boy, I had a big receiving problem. Not anymore. I have a balance, and that's what we want. We're striving for a balance, for a harmony between giving and receiving. So giving is actually masculine and receiving is feminine. So when we're in the mode of only doing one, we ourselves are out of balance. And that's what we're striving for, is that harmony between giving and receiving. So sometimes for some amount of time, you may be giving more than you're receiving. But then there's a period where you're receiving more than you're giving. It's not I received today, tomorrow I'm going to give. No, it just kind of all works itself out in the wash. That's what we're striving for, and that's where we really are our best selves and where we can be our authentic self. Give me a thumbs up if that's resonating with you, or throw down a hashtag gold in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're hearing and what's working for you. Good. All right, I'm just checking our notes here for us. Okay, so resources. What are resources in a community, or resources at all? I'd love to hear your interpretation. Please write in the comments, what are some resources that you know about, that you have, that you would need access to or want access to, something that would be valuable for you. Good. Go ahead and write those in. And as you're writing those in, I'm going to name a few. So resources can be people. It can be things. It can be knowledge. It can be information. It could be introductions. It could be money, time, energy. Our most valuable resource of all, in my opinion, is time, because you're never going to get that back. I used to be such a time Nazi that, this is back in my corporate days, I would tell people, the worst thing you can do is waste my time. Do not come in my office, do not stop me in the hallway and waste my time, because I'm going to be pissed at you and you're going to wish you'd never done that. That was a little overkill, I admit, but that was a different version of me back then. And now my thoughts about time bandits are, that's my responsibility. For me to put up a boundary and for me to step into my power of what am I going to spend my time on, because we all have the same amount of time. It's a matter of prioritizing what's important to me, what's important to your family, and then doing that. So another thing that I would say, and I do pop this one in from time to time if somebody really gets me going, is, well, that was 10 minutes out of my life I'll never get back. And if you think about it, that's kind of sad that you or I, in that instance, would have just allowed that to be wasted. So it's up to you to choose how you're going to invest your time. And invest your time as if it was money, because it translates to money. It translates to so many other things as well. Into energy, into love, into relationships. There's so many different currencies for your time. So time is another one. What else are some of the resources that you guys have found? Okay. Please type those in, because I really want to know where you guys are at, what you're thinking, and how I might be able to help you with that. So Debbie is saying, when I price my programs, I think about how valuable they are. It is for families, many of whom are strapped for cash. I get a little or a lot annoyed by the frequent coach comment, if it's really important, you'll find the money. Or if you don't do it now, when do you want or expect to change? Both of these above are true. In some cases, especially now, there are and will be a lot of people very strapped for cash. Yeah, I get that, Debbie, and I hear you. That is a real concern for a lot of people. And there's different schools of thought about that. So yes, for a person to change whatever it is they're looking to change in their life, to upgrade, to eradicate, to just know something different, do something different, there is going to be some investment. And that investment is of resources. Money is one of the resources. So is time. So is energy. So is the lost opportunity cost. Nobody talks about that. That's if I'm choosing to spend my focus, my time, my energy, my money on this particular thing, whatever this thing is, then I'm not able to do that thing or have that thing because I'm focused here. It's like the old ostrich with the head in the sand. It can't see what's going on above. It doesn't know if there's a gold mine above while it's searching for seeds underneath the ground. It's a lost opportunity. It's actually an economics term I learned back in college. It was quite fun to know that. So, what are some of your most valuable resources? I would love to hear that. Please type in the comments, what are your top 3 most valuable resources according to you? And I'm going to wait for you guys to share some of those. By the way, a resource could also be a like a practice, like a meditation. That's a resource. It's something that's going to add value and have meaning for you. And something that you can invest. And although it may not be money, we do invest all of our other resources as if it were money. It's just a different kind of currency. Yeah. So what are your top 3 resources? All right. Another question for you is, who is your go-to person? Now, this would be a person resource. We're focusing in here. Who's your go-to person that you go to for connection, for sharing, for love, for support, for giving, for receiving, whatever it is for you? And you can have different go-to people for those different categories of connection. Just get that in your mind. You may know, you may not know. You may need to think about that. But while you're thinking about that, the follow-up question is, what are your top 3 resources for personal life and your top 3 resources for business? It's very important to be clear on those, because you should know what they are and you should be able to connect with them as needed. Okay, this is so great. Patrick McCarty says, my girlfriend. So cute. That would be me. Thank you, Patrick. That's very sweet. And Debbie says, top 3 resources are energy, supportive people, time, and 4th is money, which I wrote twice as Monday. That's cute. And okay, so then Debbie's sharing her top 3 are my daughter, 2 distant, longtime close friends. Good. So be clear on what those are, because a lot of times we're just kind of floating around, and we do get into those isolated tendencies where we don't know what to do or how to raise our hand for some help. That's the other thing, is we need to ask for help if we need it. Be brave. Ask for it. So many people think, they have these stories in their head. Oh, somebody doesn't want to help me, or I'm going to be wasting their time, or they're going to think I'm stupid, or they're going to think I don't have my crap together. Whatever these programs that we run in our head, those have got to go. Because the truth is, your resources would be very happy to help you. And if you ever want to know how that would work, just think about how happy you would be to help someone who would come to you, who you have a connection with. You'd be very happy. Assuming you could do it. Or help them find the resources to do that. And Patrick says, my will to succeed. That's a very strong resource. I can attest to that for Patrick. Okay, so we're going to do another resource activity now. Think about a time when you were truly connected to another person. You can close your eyes if you want to. Not necessary, but it often works better if you do close your eyes. Think about a time when you were truly connected with another person. And how was that for you? What are the qualities of that connection that you really value or valued? It could be a current connection, could be a past connection. It doesn't matter. And if for some reason you don't have an example of that, then use somebody else's example. Someone you know who had a close connection with someone. Good. And with that connection, with that other person, what did you see? What did you hear? What did you say to yourself, and what did you feel? I know that's a lot of questions, but we're just rolling through the senses. What did you see, hear, say to yourself, and feel in that connection that made you feel great, that made you feel loved, that made you feel supported, gave you confidence, or amped up your confidence. Maybe you already had confidence. Yeah. And as you were reviewing those questions, what did you see, hear, say to yourself, and feel? See what kind of images and feelings come up, because your unconscious mind thinks in terms of images, pictures, and in terms of feelings. Hi, Nancy Ann, welcome, and I think it's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Yeah. So get all those good feelings up, those good senses. Nancy Ann, we're thinking of a time when you were truly connected with another person. How was that? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you say to yourself? What were you feeling? Yeah. And then what I want you to do is amplify. Just amplify, like you're turning up the dial on those great feelings and those great visions and those great sounds and those great words. That connection, you're just turning it up. Crank it up. Yeah. Good. And how is that for you? On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being, I'm so connected, this is really fabulous. There just couldn't be a stronger connection. And 0 being not really feeling connected, like I'm not sure what you're talking about, Olympia. So share with me your number between 0 and 10, how connected you're feeling right now. Love to know that, so I can see where we're all at. Good. All right, well, and as you're doing that, we're going to talk a little bit more about community. So having a loving, supportive community is so important for our heart set, mindset, and body set to thrive. And for us to basically just be in sailing mode. We're just sailing, like, ooh, just keep going. What has happened, though, is that for many of us, we were actually, in the past, we were hurt or wounded in community. And so we tend to shy away from community. That's just one example. Another example of programming would be like if you were a smart person, or if you are a smart person, like you think, you might have the belief that, whoa, if I seek outside help, that means I'm stupid. That's what I used to believe, because I'm very intelligent. And that's what I thought. I thought, oh, if I go talk to somebody else and try to help me solve this, then I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to feel stupid. And that person's going to think I'm stupid too, because I'm asking them for help. Now, I no longer believe that. Patrick McCarty can tell you that I am one of the first people to reach out for help to my community. I love being in community, and I love it to go both ways, giving and receiving. So with that introduction, now, okay, Debbie's saying she can't do these remember the feelings exercises. That's okay. No problemo, Debbie. All you do, because your mind doesn't know the difference, and it's still going to work just as well, is you just imagine being connected, not you, but some other two people who you knew or knew of, you don't even have to know them, who had a great connection. And you saw that and you felt that. You may have heard that. For heaven's sakes, it could even be someone from a movie, a couple of, people who were in a movie together, a romantic comedy, for example, or a romance. It doesn't matter. So, Debbie, you can go back and do that exercise with that in mind. And I think you'll find a different outcome for you. And Nancy's saying it would be a 10 when I feel connected to another creative person. Yeah, so Nancy is very creative. She's an artist, super talented artist. And so that's when you feel your best, is being connected to another creative person. And that's awesome. There are times, however, that would be really valuable for you to be connected to people who are not necessarily so in touch with their creative side, depending on what it is that you're needing out of the connection. So just keep that in mind. All right, we're going to do one more. Think of a time when you were a part of a loving, supportive community. So the first time we did this was with an individual. Now we're talking about a community. And that could be many things. It could be a family. It could be siblings. It could be friends. It could be a meetup group. It could be a walking group, a sports team. It could be, I just had another one. It could be like a professional group. It could be a support group. It could be anything. And Debbie, again for you, if you don't have a specific community, use a community that you know of or you know about. And that's acting as if. Your brain will understand that and interpret that perfectly for you. So how was that for you in this community? Like for me, one of my favorite communities I had was back in New Jersey. It was the Sister Goddesses. I loved being in that group. So loved it. It fed my soul. It fed their soul. I would get giddy just the thought that we were going to get together in a week or a month. It didn't matter. And then being there, it just felt like my soul was being nurtured. I was being nurtured. And just bathing in the energy and bathing in the just like the warm, it felt like warm hugs. Like every time I was there. Of course we were hugging, but the whole time felt like a hug even when we weren't hugging. So for me, that's where I would go with this. So get this community in mind. And how was that for you? And we're going to bring the senses in again. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you say to yourself? And what did you feel when you were in this loving, supportive community? And maybe you're still in it now. It's okay to be one that's current. And what did you receive, or what do you receive? And what do you give? Good. And then all of those great feelings, amplify them. Just like you're turning up the dial on them. Like you're a duck in water, just splash around in it. Let it go all over you, in you, around you, through you, all of that. Yeah. Good. How was that for you? You can put some comments in if you'd like to. Hi, Marisa. Nice to see you. And we're going to conclude today with some homework, should you choose to accept it. So connect with one of your friends or family member. And I know we're in the social distancing right now, so you can connect via Zoom, Facebook, FaceTime, however you want to do that. It can be a phone call. Just connect with one person. Maybe it's someone you haven't connected with in a while, and maybe it is someone you have connected. And just see where that goes. You can set an intention for what you would like out of that connection. And also, part 2 of the homework is to find a new community to connect with, or at least to explore that you may want to connect with. Or reconnect with one who you have been out of touch with for a little while. However you'd like to do that. And if you would like some help understanding what your money blocks are, go to mymoneyblocks.com, and there's a super fun short quiz. Within 2 minutes, you will know what your money blocks are. It'll send you an email and describe it to you. So that's one of the easiest, fastest ways I know of to know what some of your money blocks are, and to just kind of get an overall picture of where you are. And tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to talk about rewrite your money story into a love story. This is a great one. You guys will want to be there for that. So if you came in toward the end, feel free to rewatch the video. It's there on Facebook for you in perpetuity. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and let me know what they are. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate and value you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.